Great day, attractive thinker and visual encouragers around the world. Welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Break. Give yourself a fighting chance. Dr. Toni Hatton here, your identity coach and get to the root specialist at theattractivethinker.guru. This is where we provide the mental tools for mental healing, mental strength, and mindset maintenance for new and aspiring entrepreneurs so that you can accomplish your goals. Write your books, start your businesses, and have the resources that you need to overcome these blocks. They are real blocks and real issues. Welcome, my co-host Tichet Bradshaw, to another episode of Beyond the Break. Give yourself a fighting chance.
Happy Mindset Monday, everybody. We made it. We made it again and again. We get to do what we've never did, go where we've never gone, and have all that we deserve to have in this lifetime. It's a great day to be
It
alive.
is a fantastic and amazing day to be alive. We get to experience a new set of 24 hours that we've never seen before. You've never seen this day before. Don't step into this day like you've seen this day before, acting like you know what's going to happen. You don't know what's going to happen. Any moment of today, sudden surprises, divine intervention, supernatural experiences and revelations, opportunities and blessings sprinkled all throughout your day. And the thing about it, Tashet, is as attractive thinkers, we already know we have our attractive thinker lenses on, our attractive thinker glasses on, and all we see is opportunities. Yes, challenges are present, but we steer our focus on opportunities, and that's why they manifest in our lives in the midst of the challenges. I want you to understand that, attractive thinker, if you have not already done so. I encourage you, as I always will, because I fully believe in this attractive thinker experience on Amazon. This 726-page resource is written specifically for you. I was talking to another attractive thinker the other day, and I said, there is not a page in this book that you can turn to where you won't get something based on where you currently are on your entrepreneurial journey, or in transformation or change, or in a break. Whatever it might be, every page you turn to, I don't care what it is, you're going to get something that's going to touch your spirit. It's going to touch your soul. It's going to open your eyes. It's going to help you see the opportunity in the midst of the challenge, or it's going to help you understand the purpose and the pain. It doesn't matter what page it is. And that's a guarantee. I can stand behind that to share with everything that is within me, because I poured my heart and soul into this experience for attractive thinkers, because I know what it's like to be going through something and not have support. I know what it's like to be trying to carve a new generational path and nobody around you is concerned or interested, or that thought never even crossed their mind. They're comfortable where they are. And it doesn't mean that anything's wrong with them. It just means that you've been given this vision. And see, when you're given a vision, you have to become the vision. And that's a process. It doesn't mean that you don't get started on it while you're becoming, but I want you to understand that it is a process that happens inside of you. It's not a physical process, it's a spiritual process, it's a soul process, it's an emotional and mental process. But where do they teach that at? This is why we exist. Tisha and I show up every week on Beyond the Break to give you the tools that you need, whether you're entering into a break, whether you're currently in a break, or you're leaving a break, or you're out of the break. You need the same tools you used or had access to when you were entering into a break are not the same tools that you're going to access while you're in or out of the break. And this is why we show up every week, because the mind needs constant reminders. It needs to be constantly reminded that you're great, that you're doing well, that you're on the right path, that you're going in the right direction, that your vision is true, that your dreams and ideas are real. The mind needs to be constantly reminded of these things, or it will snap back It'll pull you back. It'll lull you back into the comfort zone. What is the comfort zone? The normal way of doing things, the average way of doing things, what you see everybody else around you doing, what the masses or what most people are doing, how most people are going about life. But you ask for more. That's why you're listening to this message. That's why it's resonating with you, because you asked for more. You wanted a better experience, a grander experience. You wanted to know the meaning of life. You asked to know who you were. You wanted to know who you were, where you're going in life, what you should be doing down here. What is the meaning to life? What is all of this about? You asked those questions. And when you ask those questions, you step into it, entered you into a whole other experience, not just experience, but revelation. You stepped into truths that aren't common. They're not talked about all of the time. And that's why, all throughout your day, every now and then, maybe every few months or maybe even years, depending on where you are in your life and on your journey, you might come into contact with another attractive thinker or another visionary. They're not common. How often do you see eagles? It's just like that. How often do you see eagles? We see chickens all the time, but how often do you see eagles? Think about that. You are an eagle. And this attractive thinker experience that you're purchasing on Amazon, and if you already have your copy, you already know. Post in the comment section under this video what you're getting from that experience. You already know what I'm talking about. It touched you as soon as you read the content on Amazon, or as soon as you heard me talk about it in this video. And then when you received your copy, you had a whole other experience. Post in the comment section below and let attractive thinkers and visionaries know around the world what this experience is all about and how real it is. It's an experience that you can't get anywhere else. And I can honestly say that, Tichet, because so many times throughout my life, I've been given information. We all have access to information now. Nobody is exempt from information now. Why isn't the transformation as impactful? Why isn't the transformation as abundant as the information? Because there's a gap between information and transformation. There's a gap between gathering information, using and applying that information, and seeing the transformation. That gap in the middle is what people are not talking about. That gap in the middle is what I needed. I felt that it was missing. I felt the gap. I felt something was not right. I'm getting the information. I'm getting excited about the information that I'm getting. It's inspiring, the dreams that I have. But when I go to see transformation, like, what are the next steps? How do I go from information to transformation? Why isn't that being manifested in my life? And that's what can cause the pain. That's what causes the mental turmoil and the anguish. Scripture says, hope deferred makes the heart sick. That's what's causing the upset and the depression. Because I honestly believe in Tichet, we've talked about this a lot. Sometimes, or should I say the majority of the time, especially in the attractive thinker generation, we aren't depressed. We are experiencing the result of suppressing what we're here to express.
Mm,
And
mm.
the only definition or wording that we can put together to explain that is depression, because it looks like depression does for others. It looks the same, but the attractive thinker generation understands that when we feel that heaviness and that weight, we're either out of alignment, not in an environment where we can grow, or an environment that can foster that greatness inside of us, or we're not around people that can keep our fire lit. Even though we have greatness inside of us and that greatness doesn't really need anything else to make it great, it has to stay alive. It has to stay burning. That greatness has to stay on fire. And the way that fire gets put out to shit is that we tend to place ourselves in environments that can't foster that greatness or keep that fire lit. It doesn't even have a match. It doesn't have lighter fuel. And the environment and the people in it can't stimulate that greatness inside of you. The conversations aren't stimulating. The ideas that are being circulated aren't stimulating, or the lack of ideas can also drown out the fire, or squander greatness, the flame of greatness inside of us. And that's where the pain begins. When you have information and you don't know how to exchange that information for the transformation, we don't know how to practically apply. And that's why we exist beyond the break, because we're here to support you in giving yourself a fighting chance. How do you give yourself a fighting chance? By not giving up on yourself. How do you give yourself a fighting chance? By believing that there's greatness in you, believing in yourself. How do you give yourself a fighting chance? By not calling it quits before you see the result, before you see the outcome, before you see the transformation. I remember going through my break to Shet, and I was through my tears. I looked myself in the mirror. I said, "You will not quit. You will see this through to the end, because you could be missing out on something. Just because you don't understand it right now, just because your eyes can't see, just because I couldn't see through my pain to Shet, did not give me the right to call it quits." And just the feeling, the thought of missing out on something great that belonged to me. If I have to go through this pain, then the other side of that pain belongs to me. I wasn't willing to forfeit. I wasn't willing to forfeit the fruit of my roots. I wasn't really willing to forfeit that. So I didn't have a choice but to hang in there to see what this end was going to be. And that's what's called giving yourself a fighting chance. We're here to provide tools and resources and thoughts that you haven't considered, perceptions that you haven't shifted into yet, to give you a fighting chance to see what's beyond your break. Tisha, talk to us today. I cannot see past this pain.
You made some good points. One of the things that you talked about is it is important to make sure that your fire stay lit in while you are going on your journey. When our healing journey begins, right, it normally starts when we are so done with being done and through with being through, sick and tired of being sick and tired, that we have to make a move or do something in order for us to
Mhm,
release some of the pain, right? And in
mhm,
order for us to be able to do that, it is going to take clarity. It is going to take us being able to focus on something other than the pain, right? And so when we are on our journey, we have to have a fire, some sort of fire that keeps us in movement, right? The thing about it is when we are in pain and pain is all you see, it's hard to keep the fire. It's
mhm,
hard to stay the course. It's hard. It makes you feel like you do almost want to give up. You do almost want
mhm,
to forfeit, but like you said, you're not willing to forfeit your fruit, for your hard work and things like that. So it is important to have things that helps us keep our fire lit, or at least keep the interest going, or at least keep the eye open, or at least, makes us wonder, or try to see, so shows like this Beyond a Break, where you get information that will cause you to think something different, or cause you to ask a different question you normally wouldn't ask, reading books that might trigger an idea, or make you ever read a book and you get some information and it make you come through your whole life with that one piece of
mhm,
information, and it gives you so much clarity that it almost heals
mhm,
what you have went through. Imagine coming across information and like that, and not knowing what to do with it, because you're not around people who have taught you
mhm,
how to take information and turn it into application,
mhm,
right? That's one thing about you, Dr. Toni. Whenever we talk or we go through something, you always seem to ask, okay, how to apply this? How do we apply this information? And it could be something you're teaching me. You can be teaching me something, because sometimes you don't know what's in you until you get to talking around people who also have a fire of their own. There's something that comes out of you, and you'll say, okay, so now that we know this information, what's the application to it? Because neither one of us is interested in having information we can't do anything with. We're not interested in staying stale, stuck, and stagnant. We're not interested in having repetition without connection. We're not interested in having a life that is not fit for what we came to have, this human experience on this earth. You know, we're not interested in just staying alive without feeling alive,
Mm.
right? Um, and feeling alive is feeling the fire, feeling your emotions, feeling the experience, allowing yourself to have your thoughts and to process them and to heal them or to use them or to apply them, whichever one it's time for. You got to know when it's time to cry, when it's time to move, when it's time to stay. You got to know what time in your life is. When you are in pain, sometimes you don't know what time it is. Sometimes you're so in pain, you're just trying to do anything. The first thing that we learn in any instance when something tragic happens is not to panic.
Mm.
That's the first thing we learn, not to panic. So when you're going through life situations and it has broken your heart and you find yourself going through a breaking experience, the first thing we need to understand is not to panic, because when you panic, you forfeit reasonability. You
Mm.
forfeit your ability to be reasonable when you panic. You're all over the place trying to work here, work there. You're not working in the right direction. You're just trying to, you're just trying to do. And sometimes when you are in that much pain, doing without connection, without proper guidance, without clarity, you can be making a mess, right? Dr. Toni, you and I, we talked earlier this morning about having the right intention. And sometimes you can have the right intentions on doing stuff and still make a mess, right? And that's because a lot of times you're operating in fear, you're operating in panic. All you're trying to do is relieve suffering, relieve suffering. But when you go to relieve suffering, you have to make sure you have clarity and meaning and purpose attached to that relief, as opposed to just relieving suffering. When my landlord, for instance, was selling a home, if I wanted to relieve suffering of being homeless, I could have just went to any old apartment, right? But when I assigned purpose and reasoning and clarity to what that transition, I said, okay, my purpose, I need to do X, Y, and Z. So I need a home that allows my ability to do X, Y, and Z. So I attach purpose to it. I said I wanted to build Diamond Mine. For any of you that are interested in home decor and things like that, I'm on Diamond Mine of DIY on Instagram, where I am building beautiful things. I'm creating some of the most beautiful things and being in my peace while doing so. But I needed a home that allowed me the space to make the mess I wanted to make, creating the purpose I wanted to create. Right. And so when you are in pain and you're you're not in panic, you can make reasonable choices. You can make choices out of purpose. You can, instead of just relieving suffering. Anybody can relieve suffering. You got a pain, you can take any medication and relieve the suffering of the pain, but every medication is not for you. Especially if there's an answer already in the earth where you can take something that does not cause another pain somewhere in order to relieve the suffering. You know what I mean? So when you're relieving suffering, we want to have purpose attached to it. So when you're in pain, what you focus on will grow. When we say I can't see past the pain, we're saying my focus is on the pain. My
Mm.
focus is on this hurts. This sucks. I don't like this. My focus is on I can't see myself outside of living life where I'm miserable.
Mm.
As an attractive thinker, as visionaries, it is important that we see ourselves outside of misery. We see ourselves living life beyond a break. We're here to tell you there's more to life than pain and suffering, stale, stuck, and stagnant. There's more to life than being uncomfortable. There's more than life. There's more to life than having to put up with being treated less than what you deserve, how you deserve to be treated. There's more to life than settling for something just because you can don't mean you should.
Mm.
Right? There's more to life than you. Can you imagine when you understand that there's more to life than you? Even if you feel like you've reached your goal, your desires, your vision, and you're living it, when you think there's more, you start to question like, what more
Mm.
is there,
Mm.
right? And when you start to seek, you will find. So when you
Mm.
start to ask, there's more. What more is it? And you start looking into things and seeking things, you start discovering some stuff that had already been there about you. In order for us to transition from a place of pain to a place of power, we have to understand who we are.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
That is the foundation of the whole journey, is understanding who you are, where you are in life, why you are the way you are, understanding how you operate, what is your triggers, what is the things that make you excited, what brings your energy up, what brings your energy down, what makes you make a move, what's your hindrances, what's your biggest fear, how do you overcome fear. You have to understand the basis of you before you can go out here and transition, because if you don't, you're going to recreate the same situation over and over again because you don't know how you created that situation. It is important for you to sit and give yourself the time to heal. Allow
Okay.
yourself the ability to sit still for a second, not in panic, but in peace, and allow yourself to get to know who you are now that this happened, to know who you are before this happened, and to know who you want to be after all is said and done, right? Because as visionaries, all will be said and done. We will make it to the top. We will make it to the
Mm.
goal and the vision. We will make it to the dream. You know why? Because we're unstoppable. You also know why? Because as long as we have breath, we're going to keep going forward. We're going to keep seeking. We're
Yeah.
going to keep learning. We're going to keep growing. We're going to keep desiring. Listen, there's nothing in life that could keep us still stagnant and stuck once you're a visionary. When you have them visions and you're an attractive thinker, there's nothing that can keep you still stuck and stagnant. There's going to be always something that's going to pull you forward. I don't care what happens. They can strip everything from you, and there's something still that will cause you to stand.
My God.
You'll have an inkling of hope at some point.
Mm.
Even when you don't want to, something will help you to stand. Why? Because as a visionary, you were called for a purpose.
Mm.
You have a purpose for your human experience. You have a purpose that is ahead of you, that is way ahead of you, that called you before you knew who you were, that
Mm-hmm.
called you. And so that purpose does not erase just because a situation or circumstance happened that wasn't in our, that we didn't feel like was in our best interest. A situation or a circumstance that happened that feel like it shattered our dreams and goals. Your purpose still remain even if you can't see your dreams or goals.
Mm-hmm.
Your purpose is going to always remain. So what happens is when we get into a place where we can't unsee the pain, we have to follow peace. We have to not panic. We have to be determined to turn our pain into passion, into purpose, and into power, right? See that there. We're turning pain, what we used to focus on, into what we're now focusing on: purpose, passion, and peace and power. When you start focusing on purpose, passion, peace, power, you start reaching prosperity in many different areas of your life. You start prospering in your spirit, and you start prospering in your money, you start prospering in your health, you start prospering. So those are the 5 P's I always refer to. Whenever you have a day, when Dr. Toni, we always say today you was granted a brand new set of 24 hours loaded with endless possibilities and unlimited resources. In those particular days that you have been granted, you should spend those days in the 5 P's: power, passion, purpose, peace, and prosperity. Meaning each minute of your day is given to at least one of them. Some parts of your day you might do something in your passion. Some parts of your day you might do something that has something to do with your purpose or growth. Sometimes you might have do something that just gives you peace. You might be meditating or reading or puzzles or whatever gives you peace. And sometimes you might be just doing something that's in your power, such as how we're sitting here doing Beyond the Break. This is us operating in our purpose and our power at the same time. We're multitasking. And then as you allow the 5 P's to be in each and every day, in each and every minute, you start seeing that prosperity start to happen. You start feeling better in your spirit. You start being able to see beyond the pain, looking past what you went through and saying, okay, there's more to life than suffering. So if I don't have to suffer, what am I doing here? Why am I still here, trying to stay here, trying to make comfort in this pain? Why am I sitting here trying? Of course, I can't get comfortable because the pain is not where I'm supposed to be comfortable in. Of course, I gotta move because I'm not supposed to stay still, stuck and stagnant. What's the point of staying in misery when purpose says I can have it all? I can have my dream, I can have my visions, I can have my goals, right? And you have to be willing to see things through. We can't give up at the sign of heartbreak, right? Even though we feel like it sometimes, right? And just when we feel like it, I feel like the Spirit of God will send somebody with a message, such as this one, that will tell you, hey, you don't have to live in misery. You don't have to stay in that place where you're not growing. You don't have to settle for being treated less than the person, the king, the queen you are. You don't have to settle for less. You have the ability to have it all, do it all, and be all you need to be, right? And when you get into your mind those visions and those goals and those purpose, there's nothing that can stop you once you increase the momentum. This is why I do visual encouragement sessions, because I use visualizations to increase momentum. When you see those visualizations so clear, and it gives you messages and all kinds of things that you need in these visualizations. These are not just normal daydreams, right? I'm not just daydreaming with you. These are power-filled visualizations, right? When you do these visualizations, it increases energy in you, and it allows you to feel that momentum. You know what that momentum is? That momentum is fuel for the purpose, fuel that is fuel that's added to a fire. You know what happens when you add fuel to a fire? Things start to move, things start to explode, things start to the fire starts to grow when you add fuel to it, right? And it gives you the ability to go forward in life, even if you don't understand everything that's going on. So when you are in pain, there's some things that you need to have with you, and you have to understand, like we said, the 5 P's: power, purpose, passion, peace, and prosperity. We have to understand not to panic. We have to understand who we are at a foundational basis. We need to understand why we are, what we are, who we are, and what makes us go, what triggers us. We have to understand those things. When you understand those things, you have to now accept yourself for who you are. Accept your accept what has happened. Come to terms with what has happened, right? Yes, it broke my heart. I cannot change that it broke my heart, but what I can do is heal it. I can't. It's like when you break an arm, you can't sit there and pretend you didn't break your arm. At some point you got to allow it to heal, but you allow it to heal when you find the connecting points. So what is your connecting point when you're in pain? When all you see is pain, what do you connect to? Do you connect to this episode? Do you connect to a book? Do you connect to a song? Do you have people you connect with? The attractive thinker.guru be having connections with people who are like-minded individuals, people who are unstoppable. Do you connect? Do you have a group that you're connected to? And so we have to know what allows us to heal. You got to have that mental first aid kit going on, Dr. Toni. You know how we always have a first aid kit in our home, and it's filled with things just in case we hurt? You have to do the same thing in your spirit and the mind. You have to have that first aid kit available just in case you get hurt. What do you have? Do you have a power wall? What's on your power wall? Does your power wall work? Revisit your power wall at every pain, because sometimes The word that was good for then might not be what's good for now. So revisit your power wall. If it does not speak to you in that moment of pain, take it off and replace it with something else, because you need something that's going to fight for you when you feel like giving up. And that has been so important. That mental breakfast, lunch, and dinner is also important to have when you're going through pain. If you're gonna see past the pain, you're gonna need all this equipment that is available to you. Like you said, Dr. Toni, information is available everywhere. We have no excuse to not have information anymore. In the day and age of information highway, we have no excuse. Now the thing is what you do with that information that's important. What kind of application do you apply to that information? What are you doing with it? How are you connecting with the information to bring rhema to that word? What are you doing that allows that information to penetrate and allow yourself to increase the momentum so you can go and apply that information so that you can see that that information is manifesting in your life? We don't want to just be holding information just to be holding it. I want to know, how do I take what I just learned? How do you take passion, purpose, power, and peace? How do you take that and apply it in your life? Where is the power, person, purpose, passion, peace in your life? How do you use that to allow you to shift from the pain? First, you got to be willing to see past the pain and not sitting with yourself, allowing yourself peace to see past the pain and becoming unstoppable. Back to you, Dr. Toni.
So fantastic and amazing, to shed. I mean, this message is really stirring me up. And I am so excited that the attractive thinker generation and visionaries around the world is having this experience with us. So this is the time in the message whereas you take out your attractive thinker notebook. I'm sure you may have had it open all along, because we already know by now that when we begin to drop these gems, you want to capture them. So in your attractive thinker notebook, I want you to write this down, because you may be saying while you're listening to this message, I can't see past this pain. What is it going to take for me to see past this pain? Tichet mentioned something, one thing in the beginning, which was the thing. It came to my mind while you were talking as well. When you said it, I was like, you got it. Bingo. That's it. You have to know who you are. You have to believe in yourself, attractive thinker, when you're going through a break. That's the foundation of everything. Listen, believing in yourself and is not just for believing in yourself's sake. It's not just for the sake of saying I believe in myself. No, what does that mean? There's something behind that. It's that thing behind that belief that anchors your soul and your spirit when you're going through something. What does that mean? I believe in myself. I know who I am. You can't believe in yourself if you don't know who you are. You can't trust yourself if you don't know who you are. It starts with knowing who you are. Who are you? You're an attractive thinker. You're a visionary. There's greatness in you. You're set aside and set apart. You're different. If you don't know anything else about yourself, you know you're different. You know when you look to the right and to the left, there's nobody like you. You can't hold a decent conversation with people on your right and your left and feel comfortable with it, or feel like you got something from it, or they got something from it. You don't feel that fire, like Tichet said. So knowing who you are helps you process and get through these experiences. We get through experiences different than we used to, and different from what's common to Shet. We don't, as attractive thinkers and visionaries, we don't just go through things and then we come out of and we've wiped the dust off of our feet and say, oh my God, I'm so glad I'm out of that. We come out with great substance. We come out with lessons and blessings and gems and jewels and treasure that we can take with us along the rest of our journey, that will benefit us along the rest of our journey. It's just like these video games that I see my boys play all the time. They're capturing bonuses along the way, coins and all kinds of out of the ordinary things that they're going to need and be able to use on the next level of their lives, on the next level of the game. So I want you to think about that, attractive thinker. Now is the time to capture these gems, because you're going to need them on this level and in the next level of the game. So when we talk about I can't see past this pain, number one, know who you are and that everything always shifts in your favor. Superman. How are you going to feel defeated and like you're out of the game when you know you're Superman
Mm-hmm.
and Superman always wins? Think about that. You know you're an attractive thinker. You know you're different. You know things always work out for you. And if you don't see that things are always working out for you, the people around you tell you that. How come everything always works out for you? How come you always win? How come you always get the thing that you're going after? Think about that, attractive thinker. Number two, if all you see are challenges, Tichet, you mentioned that, know that a shift in your lens is required because attractive, the why shift? If all I see is challenges, what's the importance of me shifting? Because I know that opportunities hang out with challenges. Because I know that, that's why I shift. I don't shift just for shifting's sake. I know that if I'm facing a challenge, an opportunity is hanging around there somewhere. They hang out together. When life knocks on your door, the first thing we see is the challenge. But I promise you, opportunities and challenges are like Siamese twins. They're there. But if you shift the lens, you'll see the opportunity standing right there, silent, not saying anything, waiting for you to recognize it. That's why you shift. You shift because you know. You shift because you know. You don't shift because you're told to shift. You shift because you know. You're like, what I'm seeing is not supporting me right now. What I'm seeing is not empowering me right now. I have to shift in order to survive this. I have to shift in order to not die in this. That's why we shift. Number three, as a human having this experience, we experience pain because there's treasure in it. This pain that we experience, we understand and we know that there's treasure in it. And if for example, to share, we all have people in our lives that, we see them going through things. We want to alleviate their pain. I've discovered that if I stop your pain, I'm also robbing you of your treasure. If I step in and interfere with your process, I'm robbing you of the treasure of that process, the treasure that only you can access. I will not, no, even if I'm standing next to you, even if I move in with you and try to help you through this process, I can't access your treasure. That treasure is customized for you. The gems will be dropping and be landing all around you, and as close as I am standing to you, I still can't pick it up or touch it because it's not for me, it's for you. Everybody's gems and jewels are different. Just like you're listening to this message right now, you're grasping and capturing gems and jewels that people in another state or another country will not be capturing. They're capturing their own customized gems and jewels because we're committed to the process. We have talked to ourselves enough to know that we're going to hang in there. We're not going to quit because there's treasure at stake. And I need this treasure in order to prosper on the next level of my life. And in order to sustain me on this level and prosper in the next level of my life. So, number four, if you can't see past the pain, you want to stop resisting this process and relax. You're not going to relax in a process or going through a break if you're not an attractive thinker or a visionary. You're not going to relax because your focus is different. You're focusing on the challenge while attractive thinkers are focusing on the opportunity. So you're not going to relax. And you say, but Dr. Toni, what do you mean relax? When I stopped resisting, I allowed and I accepted. And why do we allow and accept? We don't allow and accept any old thing. It has to be empowering me. What I allow and accept has to be supporting me. It can't be hurting me. I'm not going to allow and accept things that are hurting me. I'm not just going to stop resisting and relax into allowing and settling into allowing the darkness to just overtake me. No, 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 no. Stop resisting the process, and relaxing means I'm in this knowing that if I can't take another step, then I must be in a position where I'm supposed to be relaxing. If I can't move forward, I must be in a position where I'm supposed to be relaxing and recovering and minimizing the stress in my life. and calming my spirit. You can't move forward if your spirit is disrupted, if you're all over the place, like Tichet said. So that stop resisting the process, knowing that you're coming out. You may not know when or how, but the knowing is enough to pull you out. The knowing is enough to help you get through it, to sustain you, to support you in this process. So relaxing, when we relax, that's when peace takes over. Peace cannot take over when we're hustling and bustling and confused and running and ripping. Peace doesn't have an entryway. It can't rise. So when we stop resisting the process and we relax, then we can heal. Then revelation can come. Then clarity and creativity can come about this break. Tichet, there are some things that would not have been revealed to me when I was going through a break in my life. If I was resisting, always uptight, clenching my fist, and looking for a way out, searching all the doors and windows around me, trying to find a way of escape. There were certain revelations that I was not going to receive because there are certain revelations that are only revealed in the break. And if we resist the break, we're also resisting the treasure from the break. I hope you're getting this, attractive thinker. Now, I had to decide to stop resisting the process, relax in wherever I was right at that moment, and shift into trusting. Just like you shift gears in your car, I had to shift from resisting into trusting. I shift from resisting. I can't move forward. I'm so consumed about this break. I need direction and clarity, which I do not have right now. So I have to trust that where I am is enough. I have to trust that where I am is also a part of this process. And right now, I just want to relax. Right now, I just need some peace. Right now, I just need to be alone. Right now, I don't want to think about anything. See, stopping the resistance, ending the resistance, and entering into relaxation also means stop thinking all these thoughts.
Yeah.
Entertaining all these thoughts that are coming to your mind that seem to make sense because they don't make sense. They can't be applied to what you're going through because you've never been in this space before. So those thoughts are irrelevant. So relax the mind. That's a part of the process. Number 5, the last one, I wanted to give you some steps, like we said, practical application. You need something between information and transformation. And I'm giving it to you right now. It's called practical application. So if I have the information and I'm seeking the transformation, what do I do in between stages? These are the steps right here. Number 5, know that just because you can't see it doesn't mean that it's not there. That might sound cliche, as you may have heard it before, but attractive thinkers and visionaries, we're going to take it a step further. Know that just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not there. And it doesn't mean you can't sense it. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean you can't sense it. You feel it in your spirit. No matter how much pain you go through, you can sense it in your spirit, attractive thinker, that there's something great on the other side of this. Tichet, no matter how many times I said I was out, I'm done, I throw in the towel, I'm out of this game, I can't roll like this no more. No matter how many times I tried to quit, there was something steady, something secure in my spirit that wouldn't allow me to fully give up, that wouldn't allow me to fully go crazy, that wouldn't allow me to fully quit, because I tried to go crazy too. I didn't even know how to go crazy, but I tried based on some movies that I had seen. Just lay there and cry till you can't cry no more. But when I finished crying, no more tears came. I couldn't even cry another tear. Have you ever been to a place where going through a break and you couldn't even cry another tear if you tried? And because I couldn't cry another tear and I still wanted to stay in that space, the only thing that came out was sounds. No more tears, just sounds. That's when you know you're at rock bottom. No more tears, just sounds. And even in that state, Tichet, when I got up, I still had it in my spirit that I had to see what was on the other side of this, that I couldn't totally quit because I felt in my spirit that there was something greater for me on the other side of this. And if I didn't quit, I would give myself a fighting chance to see it, to experience it, because it was mine. It belonged to me because I experienced this break. So the fruit of the break, the greatness of the break belonged to me. And I could actually, to think that I could forfeit that just because I decided my pain level, I decided that I couldn't take anymore. I don't know my pain level. None of us do. We don't know our pain tolerance. We don't know how much we can take. But we do know what scripture says: he wouldn't put no more on me than I could bear. And I had to trust that. Even though I didn't feel, I was like, well, I can't bear this. I can't bear this break that I'm going through. But he wouldn't put no more on me than I could bear. So I want you, attractive thinkers and visionaries around the world, to take these 5 points between information and transformation and apply them to your life. I don't know what you're going through. Don't look at me and Tichet and think that we haven't been through anything. Don't assume that we're just talking to be talking. It was pain that ushered us into this position. It was a break that brought us here before you. We're real people who have experienced real breaks in our lives. And what we share is the treasure, the gems and the jewels that we have captured because we were willing to see what was on the other side beyond the break. And that's what we're sharing with you right now. So take these gems and jewels. Listen to this message again. This isn't just a one-off message. Listen to this message again. Rewind it. Go back to the beginning. And this time, having your attractive thinker notebook out, you're going to capture another set, a different set of gems that you didn't hear or experience when you first heard this message. And I guarantee you, if you listen to it a third time, you're going to capture another set of gems that are only available to those that listen to it a third time. There are certain things only available to those that are willing to go the extra mile. You say you want more, you have to do more in order to access more. You have to do what others aren't willing to do. Some people just like to have their spirit aroused. They listen to things and the music get them jumping, or the message, all the cliches are falling through the message. Oh, that's good. Oh yeah, that's me. Yeah, I agree. You got that right. Yeah. But after that's done, what kind of substance do you have to help you get through a break? Where are the roots? Listening to these messages over and over and over grows roots in your spirit, because we don't know a lot of times to share what we have to face in this life to get to the levels that we desire. But what we do know is the roots that we've grown in our lives are enough to sustain us through these changes and levels and shifts that we have to experience on this journey called life. And we are delighted. I'm overwhelmed to be able to share and express these truths to you, the attractive thinker generation and visionaries around the world. Tichet, tell our audience how they can get in touch with you, the visual encourager.
Absolutely. You can find me on my website at www.visualencouragement.com. We provide mental support for movers and shakers, for trailblazers, pathfinders, and groundbreakers, for visionaries who desire to move mountains but need help lifting the heaviness so that you can create a new vision for yourself. Go to my contact us page, put in your information. Let me know how I can uplift you, enlighten you, and encourage you so that you can live a life of fulfillment beyond a break. Again, that's www.visualencouragement.com. See you soon.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tichet, for sharing your heartfelt experiences and your expertise with the attractive thinker generation and visionaries around the world. We really appreciate the energy that you bring, and for being so vulnerable with your experiences and, willing to share in an attempt to help, other attractive thinkers to overcome their obstacles and, prosper in their breaks. Attractive thinkers, visit the website theattractivethinker.guru and place your contact information on that page, because you're going to get an email, one email a day with resources so you can go deeper even in applying that to this message. So you can just go deeper. There's a series of questions that I ask you that you may not have ever been asked before in your life. People always say, Dr. Toni, you know how to ask those questions and get to the root. Yes, and I've placed it in a free gift for you on my website so that you can have that same experience as my private clients have. Because it's not so much the answers that we look for in this life, Tichet, that I've discovered as more important than it is the questions that we ask. We need to know how to ask the right questions in order to get the right answers. Attractive thinkers, visit Amazon, grab the Attractive Thinker experience there. You want to have this resource. It is an absolute necessity on your path to as an entrepreneur, to writing your book and launching your business idea. You need these tools. If this message is resonating with you, click the like button, share this message with your circle of influence, post some comments below. We would love to hear from you. And if there's a message that you want to hear us talk about, or something you want us to go deeper with, post that below under this video as well, so that we can address those areas, because we have answers. We didn't go, and just like you don't go through certain things for nothing and come out with nothing. You come out with great substance. Dr. Toni Hatton here, your identity coach and get to the root specialist at theattractivethinker.guru. And this is where we provide the mental tools for mental healing, mental strength, and mindset maintenance. You hear us always say, our life's work, that's to make your life better. Remember, it is not what you're going through. It's how you're viewing it. Think attractive. We'll see you soon.